I see so many traders marking supply and demand levels completely incorrect. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to mark them, and I'm going to make it as simple as I can for you guys. So I went ahead and made this little makeshift candle on TradingView. Now this is what we're going to be working with. The video is not going to be that long because it's that simple. I'm telling you guys. So jumping right into it, this candle, the candle you're going to be paying attention to, is the previous contrary candle. Right? Previous contrary candle. Now, what is that? That is the final opposite candle before the move. So if the move is bullish, there's going to be a bearish candle here before that move. You're marking the last bearish candle before the move, and that is going to be for a level of demand. Now, if the market is going down, your previous contrary candle is going to be the last bullish candle before a move down. So that is going to be for supply. All right. Now that easy, right? It's that easy. I talk about this a lot in my free trading course. If you guys want to learn more about it, check that out. Link's going to be in the description, but it's that simple. Now going over to this, right? Let's say the market is bullish. And remember, this is our previous contrary candle. So what are we going to do? How are we going to mark out levels of supply and levels of demand accurately? So for levels of demand, you are going to want to mark the top of the candle, the highest point, whatever you want to say. That is what you're going to do. So it doesn't have to be just the body. You're marking the very highest point. So in this case, it would be this wick up here. So you would go up here. You would mark the very top of this. This is an accurately marked level of demand. For demand, you mark the top, right? You mark the very highest point. Let's just go ahead and add that. Mark the highest point. You mark the highest point when it comes to levels of demand. Now, let's say this was a level of supply and this was the previous contrary candle. Let's just go ahead and move that. We know this is the previous contrary candle. And let's just put it like this, like the market's going down, since we're talking about supply. For supply, you are going to mark the very bottom of the candle, the lowest point. So it would look like this. This is exactly what you would do. So for supply, you would mark the bottom, which would be mark the lowest point. That's exactly what you're going to do. For supply, you mark the bottom, which is the lowest point. Demand, you mark the top, you mark the highest point. It does not have to be the body. You're not just paying attention to the body, you're paying attention to the whole candle. Now, let's say that it closed and there was no wick, right? You would be marking the highest point on demand, so it would be the top, just like that. Now, let's say supply had no bottom wick or anything like that. What would you be doing? You would be marking the lowest point, which would be the body. It's that simple. So the whole thing you're paying attention to, right? It's not just the body like a lot of people tell you. You're going to be paying attention to this whole previous contrary candle right here, wick, body, and everything. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few market examples real quick just so you can kind of see it a little better. Look at this. This is a perfect example right here. Notice I said you're going to be marking the previous contrary candle to the push, right? And remember, for demand, I said you're going to be marking the last bearish candle before the move up, which would be this candle right here. Notice how this is the last bearish candle before the move up. That's the one we're paying attention to. Now, remember what I said, you're going to be marking the highest point of the candle when it comes to demand. So you're going to be marking the very top of the wick like that. That's exactly how you're going to be doing it. Now, just to show you guys this, the way I mark it is I have the dotted lines like this, and I mark this on each and every single time frame. That's going to be the important thing, but as of right now, I'm not diving too deep into all the time frames in Confluence or anything like that. I have some videos on my channel explaining that, and I also explain that in the free course. As of right now, I'm just explaining and showing you guys how to mark supply and demand. So that's exactly how you would mark the level of demand. And just to give you guys a better understanding, this is on the M5 time frame. So what I would do is I would go here, I would mark it M5, and you see how it pops up M5. I would go to the M15 time frame. look for that previous contrary candle, and I would go ahead, mark the very top, the highest point, and I'd put M15. That's all I'm going to show you when it comes to just using the time frames like that. If you want to learn more about it, click the link in the description. Now, this is going to be the candle I'm going to be showing you. This is the previous contrary candle before the drop down. This blue candle right here. So remember what I said, for levels of supply, you're marking the lowest point of the candle. You're marking the bottom. So in this case, it would be the wick. I would go ahead and mark that, and I would just put M15, right? But remember, I mark the very lowest point when it comes to supply, and for demand, I mark the very highest point. See how simple this is? And you just keep on looking for it. Notice how these are some old levels I had marked up right here. You would go ahead, you would be looking at this level right here. This is that previous contrary candle before the drop down. I would go ahead and I would mark the very lowest point, which would be the end of this wick right here. Here's another example of a level of supply that doesn't have a big wick or anything. See how this is that previous contrary candle before the move down? I would still go ahead and mark the bottom, and you notice that little tiny wick right there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm marking that still. That's how you want to mark it accurately. And then, like I said before, you're going to be doing this on every single time frame. If you have it on the M15 like we do now, you mark it on the M15. If it's on the M5, you mark it on the M5 and you label as M5. That is exactly how you mark supply and demand. I kept it short, sweet, showed you some examples. It's not hard at all. And if you can just get this down, it's going to make trading way easier for you. I'm telling you. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more information and more videos on this and my whole strategy, click the link in the description below. You can either join the free TCU trading course, or you could trade live with me for only $10 a week right now and get access to our live trading sessions, our weekly educational calls, and see all this information live.